Oh. Bloody Star Citizen, why won't you launch? Ah! Good. Everything's going well here. Don't worry. Fucking switch over to this. Hey. Let's knock this down a little bit. No, stop. Now you're launching! You little bastard. Going well here. It's going well, guys. Don't you worry. Turn this down a bit. Go. I was in an awful mood on the weekend. I hope you can all hear me well. I didn't turn into a bear. Mate, oh. Really grumpy over the weekend. Took it out on my friends playing games. Maybe they should be better at games, eh? Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm not the reason we're losing games in Apex or Overwatch, eh? I'm pro. It's always your team's fault. No. But I hope everyone's doing well. We still don't have an open PTU yet, which is a bit of a shame. Bit of a shame. Turn this down even more. Maybe not turn this down even more. Let's turn this down, and this down. That's off. That's down. That'll be fine. That'll be perfect. Hopefully that's not coming through on my audio. But maybe it will be. Who knows? Silverian X. Thanks so much for the sub. Very much appreciated. Right. So we're gonna potentially play some Star Citizen today, if it will let me log on the servers. I wanted to do some of the tests that I had planned for some podcast skits, but that's if Star Citizen even loads. Yeah, so hope everyone's doing well. I'm not a bear. I'm not angry anymore. I've rested. I've slept. My parents went on holiday recently. Have come back, and they're actually downstairs at the moment, chilling out. They sort of like they're here regularly. Like, oh, yeah, the house is clean and we didn't clean it. I was like, yeah. But I am a 34-year-old man. I can clean a house. If you didn't come here regularly, I'd get a maid. I'd buy a maid. That just seems reasonable, right? What we got here? So what I wanted to do today really is fly around in 3.6 PTU and then do the same thing we normally do, but also chilling. There's some stuff I want to talk about with some content I want to do over the next week. I thought that at the beginning of each week I'd do a stream and we chat about that content. Because I want to talk about date-driven release schedules versus feature-driven release schedules. Because obviously we've got a huge delay, or at least a large delay with 3.6 at the moment. And yeah, a large delay I suppose is all relative. It's currently just over 2 weeks. In the grand scheme of things, probably not that big a delay if 3.6 is delayed by a month. However, knock-on effects and things like that in general, sort of like perception for Star Citizen is, even if it's like an hour late from what they said, it's a broken promise sort of thing. For some people, obviously a lot of people are more reasonable, more chilled. But Mike 2019, thank you very much for the sub as well. Very much appreciated. Does anyone know where the Maxox neutron repeaters are located? I believe you can get it at Cinemass. Almost certainly on Cloud 18. Can I be the ship winner this month at the Zudio? No, maybe. Unlikely. Possible. Yeah, so just we'll play some. Have we loaded in? Fucking loaded in, haven't we? Oh man. Right, that's fucking perfect. Except, no, it doesn't want to display. Yes, there we go. Perfect. Let's turn off this lovely music by Pedro to listen to the in-game music by Pedro. I'll pull this up here. Do is I'll wheel down on that. Feel free to ask questions. Question in brackets. See if we can get this as a working format and what I need to change. So I'm probably going to be grabbing. Let's go over here. I'll probably be grabbing 2080 Ti maybe at the end of this week, maybe in the next week, just because I want to be able to run Star Citizen, capture it as high quality as possible, and the actual video encoder on the 20 series of GTX cards is pretty slick. What is the client-to-actor server networking mentioned in the roadmap for 3.6? Yeah, so that is to make the server authoritative. At the moment, the client is authoritative. One day I'm about to say authoritative. EC. Go right? So at the moment, if, for example, my data is different from the server's data or whatever, it sort of like prioritizes mine and says, this is where I am on the server, and I might be seen if I've got a bad connection by other people jittering around or whatever, and I might shoot someone where on their screen they're convincingly behind a wall, but because I'm slightly out of sync effectively or slightly behind, I actually hit them on my screen, and it will say that I've hit them even though they're behind a wall on their screen. And that's not great. Hit rage and all that sort of stuff is all affected by this. So server authoritative is just a better approach in my opinion. However, it's a slightly more difficult approach. That's why games sometimes prefer client authoritative. Authoritative. There we go. Let's just use that. Oh, thank you very much, Kira. Very much appreciated. So server authoritative basically goes, the server says where you are at any given time and then relays that to everyone else. So if you've got a terrible connection, you suffer from your terrible connection. Everyone else sees a nice smooth ship flying around. You are, when I shoot you, you are there to the server and I am there on the server. So the idea is that the hit reg is better and you don't see ships jittering around potentially. It's also just a necessary prerequisite of getting server-side object container streaming in and server meshing in and all that sort of jazz. Actually, what do we look like at the moment? Oh, we've got a helmet on from our last video. We will go buy a new set of clothing. I'm taking the 3.6 delay in my stride as my mopo exploded. Okay, nice. 3.6 frame rate. So, performance is in the current 3.6.0 a bit lower in general, but also in certain areas, especially sort of like built-up areas, welcome to the store. You have a terrifying face. The performance degrades quite heavily. Stability-wise, it's great stability, I find. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of bugs. PTU phase typically will be loads of bugs. Even when it's open PTU, there's a load of bugs, and they sort of like plow through the list of bugs when in open PTU. I'm going to grab a couple of guns. You have the scalpel here. Grab the arrowhead, that'll do.
Nice choice.
Grab some of the new scopes as well. So, I mean, the main things really in 3.6 are there's like weapon attachments and there's improvements to missions and stuff like that. Hopefully they'll be fixing a load of the 3.5 stuff that they've got. But there was loads of problems with the gameplay loops being broken. At the moment,
so make sure to check them out.
A lot of stuff's broken in 3.6 as well. Hover mode's one of the major additions, as is the law system and black market stuff. Black market stuff still isn't fully implemented in my opinion. Iron a lot of stuff out. They've also been doing loads of economy fixes and changes as well, so there's no artificial 1-minute timers. Shops now have an inventory and an amount of money that they have to spend, and they've sort of like rejigged what sells what and what buys what. It's still not a proper dynamic economy by any means. What magazine am I looking for? I've forgotten. There we go.
Feel free to take a look.
And the pew pew, not the scalpel.
I think you're going to be happy
what sniper
with
rifle
that.
did I buy? Sorry, I'm a bit gonna sneeze. There you go. Oh, that was sexy and painful at the same time. Sexy, painful. What
Nice
gameplay elements
choice.
are still missing that aren't the roadmap that you're excited for? I mean, everything coming together. There's huge amounts of gameplay. Server meshing's not on the roadmap. Server-side object container streaming's not on the roadmap. There's about 1 billion different gameplay mechanics. All of the science mechanics, all of the industry and economy stuff. For me, Star Citizen all coming together is the exciting thing. Like, it's... The way that economy and industry work is that they're all balanced with everything else. Everything in Star Citizen affects the other in multiple knock-on ways. And yeah, they're going to simulate a huge portion of the economy, and the CIG will be able to control a huge amount of that because of it. You're not going to have the same sort of crazy industrialist expansion and stuff like EVE has, because that is entirely player-led, except when the EVE guys decide to send in all the sleepers or whatever. It's not sleepers, are they? Are they sleepers? Drifters. Into the game and blow everything up. Like, that's an interesting thing. I love what they've done with it, to be honest, with the latest thing that's happening there. Where am I going? I'm going over here. So, it depends on how you define beta, when we'll have a Star Citizen beta launch. So, if you define beta by a game that is feature complete with their current list of features,
Thanks
but
for coming in.
lots of bugs needs to be, stuff needs to be ironed, doesn't necessarily have all the gameplay area, they could just have 1 or 2 systems if they wanted, as long as all the features are there, then it's quite far off. I mean, 2023, 2024 doesn't seem that ridiculous, if you're looking for feature complete
back
Star
again, I
Citizen
see.
for a beta.
Welcome.
However, for a Star Citizen
got
with
a
no
few
more
new items in,
resets,
so,
or Star
make
Citizen
sure
that's
to check them
persistent, probably significantly before that. You could start to see more and more of that. Like next year, I very much suspect they're going to be trying to get in
Good to
full
have you
persistent
back.
server meshing and no more resets, all sort of like iterated on, so that we won't have as many resets. I do think they'll still do a reset for beta, or if something significantly changes, or if they need to, but you will have
back
a
again, I
lot more
see.
progression,
Welcome.
not to reset every 3 months. My rig spec is a an 8700K processor. I've got a 1080 Ti at the moment and 64 gigs of RAM.
Back again, I see.
I'm heavy on the RAM.
Welcome.
Stop talking to me! I'm heavy on
Feel free
the
to take a
RAM
look
side.
around. We got a pretty good selection.
But that's because of my video editing and stuff like that. It's probably far more than I actually need at the moment.
Tricksy little
I will be
Back again,
potentially
I see.
grabbing one of the new
Welcome.
Ryzens. Maybe. Thank you very much, Alfred. Love your face. Much for the resub. And I'm going to be buying a 2080 Ti. So the 2080 Ti will allow me to encode significantly better, so I can stream at a higher bitrate, or at least with high quality.
Back again, I see. Welcome.
That damages my frames less, and video-wise, that means I can get much better, potentially even 4K videos at a high frame rate. So I'm after 60. I don't even get 60 frames a second
See
in my
anything you like?
1440p gameplay. I get about 50 from when it actually records. Otherwise, I see massive degradation in my performance.
free to take a look
but
around. We
with the 2080
got a pretty
Ti,
good
they're
selection.
significantly better than the 10 series for video encoding with NVEC. What should we
Hi. Good to have
we
you
grab?
back.
Oh, what? Get up! Forced me out because I was probably reasonably idle. I'm gonna start to do a BoredGamer breakfast club, I think, so
back
I'll be
again, I
streaming in the
see.
mornings
Welcome.
and doing like my videos at the same time, so like playing the
Feel free
scripts
to
for
take a
them,
look around.
talking
We
about what I want
got
to
a
do for
pretty
them.
Good purchase.
Thanks. I'm glad you think it was a good purchase. I actually like my preferred spacesuits are actually white ones. I
back
really
again,
like
I
the sort of
see.
like clean, sort of clinical looks when it comes to spacesuits. The least branded the possible as well, though. So, I mean, this is a horrible colour, but I'll happily go for it because very few people will want a bright yellow suit.
Hi.
But anyway,
Good to have you
damn.
back.
I'm hoping they just have a system in the future that just doesn't list all of the suits. It will have like just a listing for the beacon suit. Actually, the beacon suit's probably one of my favourites. And then I can then just select colours for it. Blah, blah, blah,
Hey,
or a
back again,
colour
I see.
customization
Welcome.
system later. Not every different colour combination listed individually in a giant list like this. What? Monstrous. You monstrous shop. In the future.
Good purchase.
Grab a nice helmet as well. We don't need armour.
Hey, back again, I see.
Probably already got
Welcome.
the Odyssey helmet. Venture helmet, isn't it? Like the Venture. Probably yellow and white. Not liking these red accents on it, though.
I think you're going to be happy with that.
Pink accents. What's going on there? I'll grab it anyway. Nothing
Hi,
more
good to
manly
have you
than
back.
wearing a helmet with pink on.
Feel free to take a look around. We
Oh, maybe-
got a pretty good selection. Hey, back again, I see. Welcome.
You think I have an entertaining sense of humour? That's not going to make you more likely to win the competition. Lying to me, lying to my face. Sarsawa. I don't know your name. Can't. Sarsawa. Perfect. That's what I'm going to call you. That seems right. Thanks. I appreciate it. But you know, I'm not particularly entertaining. Well, actually, I'm not very good at focusing on multiple things. I can focus on a single thing pretty well. As primary solo player, haven't found an orc yet. Do you think it'd be worth keeping a hammerhead? Or do you think it will be too expensive for one person to maintain? You'll be able to get NPC crews, and you'll be able to run AI modules in a lot of places. I think that you would need a party to run that ship effectively, but you would be able to get a party in-game. It would be viable to run solo, in my opinion. However, I think it's probably better to run with a group regularly, or to get an org. Why not try and find an org? There's so many, there must be one that suits your playstyle. Even if it's a load of more sort of like disparate solo players, that just want occasional parties, rather than anything more than that. There must be orgs for that. Do you think server-side object container streaming and meshing will show up on the roadmap? Seems like they could even just tell us it's going live when it's about to. Yeah, I mean, they'll put it on the roadmap if they know it's going to land in that roadmap, in that particular section of the roadmap, because they don't want problems with. So we can talk a bit about this, because this is something I want to have in a video. God, that's fucking awful. That's alright. I like this the most. This nice clean white. How grey is the grey helmet? Looks pretty white to me. I actually think it looks better in grey. I think I like the yellow shiny armour. I think that's just so gaudy. But that's pretty nice. What else do I have? Okay. I didn't know what account I was on. I'm on my typical Grimhex account, but last time I finished in Grimhex, I came back to Bololasa because I cleared my criminal rating in Security Post Kareah. Yeah, so with server-side object container streaming, I think that it will just turn up. I think we might see it towards the end of this year. They're doing internal tests with it at the moment, and apparently it's going well, and they've completed some tests, and they keep on talking about it in the roadmap. Grab the... Hey. No! No! Yeah! Apparently, there's one in use. Little bastard. What? Okay, no. Go. No. Got a floating something behind me. Let's remove all this. Remove all that. We haven't got a gun on us. There's lots of little teething issues with 3.6 in the PT at the moment. So one of my main gripes is the amount of time it takes to interact with the ship console, and I'll show you that in a second, and update your profile. See, I saved that, and my magazines have come back. And now neither of these guns are allowing me to be put on my back. Which isn't ideal. It's not... It's subpar. What do I think of Thingamajig from Captain Marvel being the new 007?
Hi. Good to have you back.
So, okay, I'm not really about... I'm not super inclusion. I'm anti-exclusion. I think there's a big difference there. If people want to do 007, that's sort of fine as whatever character you want. It's a designation for typically James Bond or a Bond. And yeah, I could see other people doing that. That's fine. That sort of makes sense in lore and stuff. Typically, it's given to a white male character. Don't really care. Retconning or changing a character that's already there and sort of like Tom Holland as the new Spider-Man changes sexuality, I would believe would be a bit weird. But that's a different thing there. If a character is already sort of like settled on being in a certain way and then you retcon or change them, that would be weird. So, and typically Spider-Man is a white character, but you watch Enter the Spider-Verse and you realise this is actually pretty cool. And they had lots of different people in lots of different roles. Including Nicolas Cage, who doesn't have a race or gender.
Nice
who knew?
Choice.
But I mean, doesn't matter. I don't like stuff being shoved down my throat when it comes to correctness or whatever. But certain things I'm sort of like much more chill about. I go, yeah, I can have James Bond. I didn't like female Doctor Who, mainly because I thought it was shit, the series. But I don't really care. As long as it's good, you know. Is the film going to be good? That's the main thing.
Hey, back again,
I suspect there will be a typical James Bond character again pretty soon in the films. Black Panther as an Asian girl. No, I don't think that... yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't be too up for that. What? This is a weird conversation. I don't mind talking about stuff like that occasionally. I know it's open at sort of like it's a level which becomes politically incorrect and offensive, but hopefully we won't go past that line. But the designation of 007 is fine, and as far as I understood, sort of like could be given to anyone. So don't really mind about it. Don't really care that much. What do you want? So this is one of the other things that I was curious about. Look, it says checking for ages now. This could be that the back-end services aren't connected to this properly. Oh no, that was pretty quick compared to normal. We'll reclaim our Gladius because it's got the new HUD. Probably want to use that. Also, I assume our Cutlass Black is destroyed. No, it's not. Oh. How do you feel about a patch release with no features, but instead focused on fixing bugs and cleaning the experience? Once we have some more of the stuff dialed in, yes, I would expect potentially. So, okay, for example, once they've released Squadron 42, and they've got all that core experience there, yeah, do a patch which is finishing off integrating those features into the persistent universe and just cleaning the experience up. But if they just keep on every so often having a clean the game patch when they keep on accruing more and more bugs and stuff, that's not going to get us anywhere. It's just going to even slow down the development even more. Does anyone play a Star Citizen as part of an org without your own ship? That's an interesting question, and I hope there's a lot of people that have just starter ships that have joined orgs, like even test and stuff, with the idea of just crewing other people's ships and using their ships. I think that's one of the things that you should be aiming to do, rather than buy your own ships. I'm not aiming to do. Probably aiming to buy a ship, a large ship, or the ship you want in the future, with in-game money. I haven't seen a Bond film after Die Another Day. Die Another Day? They got weird. They got really weird, some of those Bond films. we're gonna do a nice chill Star Citizen, sort of like we'll fly about, we'd murder some things and things. I'm not gonna excessively customize my ship for PvP and then fly around just murdering people that are just like, I'm in the PTU, ah! Okay, we're gonna chill. Oh, Board's not responding to my VIP mission question. Ask it again, Andre, if you wish. I'm sort of like living in a smaller window today. I'm living in a box. But a question I would like to know from people is: would you prefer Star Citizen to go
delivered to the following landing pad
away from time-driven releases, which they don't seem to meet at the moment, to feature-driven again? So we might not get a patch every 3 months, or we might get very minor patches every 3 months or ever so often, but they are focused on features which they'll then put into a patch. Or would you prefer them just to go, no, we're going to be time-driven, we're going to do it every 3 months, but if something looks like it's not going to make it, we aggressively cull it for the next patch or for a 3.x.x patch? Or, no, well, that's a statement. Well, you're a statement. Committee today. Yeah, so I think the stuff in Squadron 42 is obviously so core to Star Citizen, and they're focusing a large portion of their effort on Squadron 42 stuff at the moment. It's a shame in the short term for the persistent universe, because it's not going to get much more of featureful. And there are still some dedicated teams working on persistent universe, a good amount, but it's sort of like, I mean, I'd give it a 60-40 split, maybe. But obviously, of that 60%, that's more focused towards Squadron 42. That's also core features for both. And I did pull that number out of my ass, you know, citation needed. Will you be able to put restraints in your ship like the one in the clip from the beginning of the stream that lady was locked into? My wife's into that. So that was at the end of the vertical slice. That was one of the advocacy who had been captured by some slavers.
Systems green.
And I suspect not. I suspect there will not be handcuff me to a radiator restraints kind of thing. I don't think that they'll want to do that. But who knows? Who knows? There will be less than lethal ammo and that sort of stuff. Look at this guy just spinning. Is he good? You see these are advocacy ships. Scan him. You can see who owns him. So at the moment, the scan HUD is just, you know, informational. But it will be cleaned up, I suspect, very shortly to look a lot better. We can see here that this is a NPC ship, Crusader security, running around interdicting things, and it has 2 life signs on board, both called Crusader. Now, we'll have fun with Crusader security at some point in the future, but they're interdicting. Now, with interdiction, you'd have to destroy that ship or get far enough away from it. I'm not sure why it doesn't say can't fly here at the moment. He is! Well, he's not just wobbling anymore. In the last patch, the ships there were just sort of like wobbling and wibbling. I'm worried he's going to ram me in a minute. This over here. Purely cutlass black, okay. What about you? You interesting at all? Why is there a hammerhead with no one in it over there? Go have a look. Why can't I? Why can't I change my velocity? Ah. I'm having a problem where I can't set my velocity control. How weird. Turn off power.
Shields offline.
Get involved with whatever's going on there.
Aegis combat assist activated.
Now I can sort out my velocity control. That's useful.
Green.
Still hammerhead? Yes, it is. Going over there to have a look to see what that is. What happens if you imprison a player in your ship's brig and then decide to log out? Well, we don't know yet. That's the thing. We don't know how that sort of gameplay is going to work. Also, fighting mats. Oh, someone that looks like they may have just got blown up. No one in the pilot seat of this hammerhead. Weird that, like, the large ships feel so small when you're outside them. When you're inside. Hey there? A little angry, doesn't he? Even get aboard. Have you seen Squadron 42 content you're not allowed to tell us about? I mean, yeah, I've seen some Squadron 42 stuff that I'm NDA'd for from office tours. Yeah, yeah. Oh. There's two side ports, isn't there? Hello, anyone here? No? Where are the side docks for the hammerheads? Yeah, so I've seen some stuff, seen some ships, full models, and some environments, but not too much. I'm not like, oh my god, he knows all about Squadron 42. Just, I've seen some stuff which is NDA'd still at the moment. But you're always going to have that. NDAs as well don't technically don't expire, so that's one of the reasons you don't have. After like the Evocati phase of PTU, you can't talk about technically what was in the previous PTU. It was in those Evocati phases. I blow open those doors anyway at the moment. And oh! It's nice of him not to blow up my ship. Or ram me to death. I'm good, I didn't shit myself or piss myself. Oh, no. Yeah, so... yeah, later on today I'll probably do a little talk about Star Citizen trying to catch their breath with a patch. Because we don't want to see constant delays in the patches. If they say they're going to release a patch every 3 months, then do that. Doesn't matter if they cull off some of the features. No. You close that pilot canopy. Don't be like that ship. Any interesting things going on? So typically in the personal section are things that are sent directly to you, so only you can complete some of them, like an investigation mission for the PI, bam. But also things that are more illegal or that sort of stuff. So like taking out comrades and doing illegal shipments of things as well. Once you get a criminal rating of a certain level, you won't be able to do the general missions or most of the general missions, and like locked into the more personal. General board is supposed to be like a board that's broadcast to everyone, so like in the open public message board effectively, whereas personal is sort of like you looking for it or slightly harder to find, or harder to trace maybe in some of the situations. Take this bounty mission. Oh, I've just got a trash loadout on my Gladius, which won't be great for fighting. What else have we got? Got anything that's how are the AI doing on? Up ones. Have a look. I'm actually going to have a look at the PI mission just to see what the performance is like over there. Back for that bounty later. Have a look at the lighting and performance and all that sort of jazz. Also, the criminal element of that mission now. Do I get a trespassing thing for it? No, unlikely to be a brothel ship. I think they will try to avoid some of the... They'll try to avoid gore and some of the other elements in a game that would make it above an 18, like a 15-year-old game. See what I mean? They want to keep many people able to buy it and play it as possible. Have you seen Hammerhead versus Hammerhead ship battles? Yes, and participated in loads as well. They're pretty fun, but at the moment they're reasonably pointless and not balanced properly. So larger ships will have a much larger time to kill soon. Physicalized components will change the way that those sort of fights work as well, because ships won't just have health pools, they'll be targeting each other's systems in a very particular way, trying to disable them.
Quantum travel initiated.
Got here. Go back up the list. Yeah, hover mode's in. We can look at. We'll go to the investigation mission and then we'll mess around with hover mode. That's a good shout. Any thoughts about a flying space restaurant ship? I mean, if it's doable in game, I will probably do it at some point. There might be like deliveries of food and stuff like that, but I don't suspect there will be an actual service of. Well, maybe. I mean, eating and drinking is going to be important in the game to at least an extent. But I suspect it's more delivering food. Yeah, there's kitchens, and there's mess halls, and there's immersion. Yeah, there was a little bit of pee when that hammerhead passed me. I didn't realise it was it had powered up like that. Do you know on Delamar there's... I don't know why Delamar has been made and added, even though it's not in the Stanton system. It was wanted. They needed it for something. I'm not entirely sure why. I think they were using it for vertical slicey type stuff. Oh, oh my god! Now you can see terrible, terrible piloting skills without using. Fixed. Fucking I'll gimbal lock. This is going to take a while, so I apologise. constellation. You can still see that the pips are jittering quite heavily. ESP pulls me off. Literally, I have a nice shot. An ESP will... pull me off target. Because it hates me. I'm using the strafe A key to keep on target. If I move my cursor, it sort of just pulls me around. Get wrecked, son. You can still see there's a problem with the AI. They're not really shooting me. And they are moving around, at least. They're very jittery. Well, the pip's very jittery.
Missile locked. Missile.
Get out of here. Get out of here, you little weasel. No, you're not getting away now. The dogfighting at the moment is around 2,000 meters. Tiny bit closer. See, it literally drifts my cursor off anytime I try and move it. It's an absolute fight. Come on, no, let me aim. I'm really trying to drag it into the center of that pit. It just does not want me to go there. Right. The ESP and general combat balance just needs work at the moment. Obviously, all stuff's locked within about 2,000 meters. I'll just let him drift off into the orbit there of is it Daymar? Yeah, Daymar here. See you later, buddy. How far did we actually fly out? Oh, not too far. Is there a beluga whale in your family tree board? No, but I will be getting a whale emote. Boo Huxley. I've got a beautifully shaped head. We all know. I look like a potato, I look like an egg, and I look like a whale. Who knew that all these three things could all be accurate at the same time? These pads don't actually work. It feels sort of like polite, doesn't it, to
Landing
land?
gear deployed.
So decoupled's relatively buggy for me at the moment when you decouple your ship. It pulls ESP even more aggressively, left and right. Typically, I've got used to using the power throttle now. So using the power throttle, you can... Ah! Good. I'm good. Using the power throttle, you can do a lot more drifts and slides and interesting maneuvers, I find, without decoupling, although, obviously, decoupling is a really useful tool and very powerful, and you should use it. I just find lots of problems with it at the moment. It might be partly because of the new HOV mode as well. Maybe they've tweaked the thrusters in more ways, but the acceleration control certainly has done some stuff to it. So they've decoupled the lighting in a lot of locations. If you go back and visit some locations and compare them to what they were like before, you'll go, oh, these locations look amazing. Really, really great lighting and atmospherics for these locations now. Still glitchy debris though.
the package you sent. Thanks a million for the Moby mod. It is incredible. Sorry for the noise. The crew surprised me with a
I'm
shit
not
dig.
sure if these sort of stations will also all get replaced, or if the Kovalex Gundo Hub stuff, they can just go, well, we'll put them in addition to them. It's the same with, like, Paul Star. We'll talk after this audio. Thank you very much, Mac, for the raid. Very much appreciated.
Jeez, Darnell, look, just one. Maybe a sip. There we
Challenging
go.
PTU today. What, you've had a challenging day on PTU, or...
Let's go. Darnell, one more.
Oh, just chill out,
We'll
mate.
get back to it, but
Chat
you know
about
how your dissertation's going.
some stuff I'm doing this week and things like that.
Miss you.
Like, I want to do...
Game for the person. Bye, babe.
I want to talk about time-driven release dates versus feature-driven, and I think I prefer them to have time-driven release dates, but also meet them and just more aggressively cull features out if they need to. Obviously, lots of problems with 3.6 that still need to be addressed. HOV mode, performance issues. Performance here is pretty good, though. Looks great as well. Weird the object collision stuff, though. Like, it glitches through the floor so aggressively, and the server doesn't know exactly where it is at the moment, which is... So when this is server authoritative, which I hope it will be in 3.6 still, shouldn't glitch around so much. Updating it. Well... Well, players shouldn't glitch around so much, but I suspect it would be for objects as well. Taking drinks in stride, you're amazing. Oh, thanks. Well, I mean, if you put yourself on the internet, you should be, you know, pretty chill about stuff like that. I take the piss out of myself all the time. Life is a ridiculous, hilarious thing. Is that Micropulse Monkey? Oh my fucking god. That's an old joke. Understanding that CIG knows hover mode needs work. Where do you think they'll go with it? That's a bloody good question. Hopefully in some way that auto-stabilizes my ship a bit better and I'm trying to land. Let's grab this information for this and then actually look at some hover mode. Ow. So I just literally bump into everything. Oh god. Oh god. I believe the screens aren't on for this mission this time, so the screens on the laptops and everything, they're just not working. Oh. Go up to the data room. Let's have a quick look at the data room just in case it looks amazing. This Kovalex does look very good now with this lighting. Good. Ow, ow, ow. Yeah, my head. Didn't need it anyway. Ow, my legs. Perfect. The reflections are pretty slick in here. It's a shame that we just have such aggressive reflections in cockpits. Oh. Come on. Oh, we recovered from what I thought was going to be a crash. Pretty nice. The actual thing you're supposed to be doing here is collecting data to work out what happened. And hopefully there will be modular missions which will have some cool stuff like this in it that aren't all exactly the same. But there was an idea that there was an explosion on the station, and it killed everyone on board. Ah. Ooh. But, like, bouncing off everything is fine. I'm like a... No, what? Why have I come back up here? What am I doing? Why am I doing this to myself? Okay. Oh my god, I'm lost. I've become lost. We're okay. We're okay. We're okay. You have to worry. All good. Like, we're in my happy, calm space. Calm space. We're not lost. How did I do that? I've gone through this station about, I don't know, at least 50 times. What am I doing with my life? Who fucking knows, mate? Huh? Oh no, I can't open the door. Well, unfortunately, it turns out that your husband just got drunk and did it after all. That'll do, right?
I wanted to let you know that I've received the information you sent and will be uploading the payment to your account.
You're drunk.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I knew how hard that struggle was, but I guess I had hoped for better.
Husband was drunk and killed everyone. Sorry to do that. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, because I can't be asked to get the door code to find out that he was innocent. But hopefully there's going to be some interesting things like that. Super chill, you say? Yes, indeed, Sodwhite. I'm just chilling out. Just want to chat about some stuff. While also playing a little bit of 3.6. Also, it actually for me, metric-wise, it's so I can review the data and everything and get the my 2080 Ti set up correctly for in-game streaming purposes as well as video purposes, because I want to be able to stream and record simultaneously. Liberty Pixels, thank you very much for the host as well. And Zandozola. Oh, I actually said thanks earlier, but I didn't mention your name because I'm a monster. Let me in. We'll go do some hover. Ah! Talk about that as well.
Contact.
Yeah, it's Star Citizen has many a glitch, and 3.6 PTU has a lot of problems. I mean, I do expect it to go to wider PTU pretty soon when they've got a couple of the blockers sorted, because that just seems most likely, because they'll need to stress test stuff before it all goes live. Right, we will. Let's go to Port Olisar and grab out a ship like a Cutlass Black, and then you can actually see the hover engines, the VTOL engines pointing down, and exactly what hover mode does. So some of the stuff that the new law system fixes as well is that helps prevent pad ramming by giving sort of like charges people for doing it. You pad ram, you're going to get a fine, and you're going to get criminal ratings as well for destruction of property and ships.
Contact.
Alright, my canopy's open, ready for me to leave. Perfect.
Contact.
Shut itself again. Good, thanks.
Contact.
Thanks, canopy. The 890 jump has been sort of like confirmed, what is it, 210 meters now? Which is a good bit bigger than we thought it was going to be. And it will only be able to land in the short term at ArcCorp and Lorville, but they will be getting the larger pads in for them to land. So it's too big to land on this pad, which is a massive pad. You can see, like, the hammerhead fits on there nice and snugly. Look at these ships, they're still wing wobbling. Wobble, wobble, wobble. Oh. Oh my god, that advocacy member was a day away from retirement. Oh my god. Are you pad ramming? Is this security force? Wow. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's not having a good day. These guys are drunk. Yeah, I don't say teas. I've got a disease where I don't say teas and things. Water. Yeah, that's, he's not having a great day.
Please
well,
proceed to assigned landing
I've
bay.
certainly seen some derpy AO before. I mean, they are flying around, which is good. I suppose.
Landing gear
Tell you what,
deployed.
my guilty
Automated
pleasure
landing
game is at the
initiated.
moment. It's League of Legends Auto Chess, Teamfight Tactics. Never played League of Legends, ever, in my life. But I do quite like the concept of auto chess. It reminds me of playing Warcraft 3 mods, which was a huge portion of my life back in the day. It keeps me open my canopy because it hates me. I quite like auto chess because it's
Landing
nice and
complete.
tactical,
Have a
a
pleasant
little
stay.
bit of RNG, but you'll play sensibly. You can sort of like outwit opponents that get luckier than you, but just because you can see what they're building and what they're doing. I like it. It's got lots of angles auto chess, and it's pretty chill. Get out of here. Get ourselves a Cutlass Black. Yeah, they do want the inner gravity of ships to be able to be turnable on and off, as it were. That's supposed to be a thing. I think in the 890 jump, all the water will get sucked out, like a swimming pool and stuff in the shorter term anyway. Potentially even in the long term. But the idea is that there will be zero gravity water physics at some point. Pad ramming a criminal, it's fine. What's the best webcam for FOIP? The Faceware webcam will be the best, but we don't sure when that's coming out. I'm expecting to see it for... if I can get my secondary camera working. Camera, it's trying to... Fantastic. It was trying to go to the camera that's on the front of my Valve Index VR headset. There's a camera there, and it keeps on trying to use that for VoIP. How ridiculous do I look? So this is with... Is it doing my eyes properly? Do that. Hello, and welcome to some more BoredGamer. So unless you squint really heavily, when you calibrate, it just makes your face look fucked up. Maybe it's just my face. Look how drunk I look! F4. And why put the key for camera F4? Why make anything F4? Okay? That's just ridiculous. Amount of times I have Alt F4'd trying to do a camera function because I'm an idiot. Let's press minus. So this is a camera that's not been configured for my face. The one I'm The one that's in the center of my computer, my hand's in the way now, is actually being used by OBS to talk. And then I've got another one to the right of me, which isn't angled particularly well. See if we can figure this one a bit better. Get slightly closer. Could use the zoom feature of the camera, but that will actually affect this camera because I haven't set stuff up properly. Really squinty face. Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. The VoIP's really good. So that's a C920 that I'm using there. If you put your hands up in front of your face, it will go mad. Occasionally, if I don't turn the white balance down, it will lock onto my mustache or my like beard and think it's my mouth, which will get my mouth just going at some points. You have to change the white balance down for that. Also, because my eyes were so squinty, and I squinted them, I can't fully close my eyes. But if you zoom in enough and all that sort of stuff, you can get VoIP working pretty well. As you see, occasionally it doesn't lock onto my face properly, but you zoom in and everything, you can actually get quite a good experience. You've seen probably some of my videos where it's working really well. Others, that it just looks a bit weird, but it does track a lot of different things. It does them quite well. Very well when it's set up properly. You angle your face down too much though, you'll do sour lemon lips. If you angle them too far up, you'll just have dumb face. So you have to look in the middle, which is a weird thing as well, because that means you're not looking in your camera when you're configuring it, you're looking in the middle of the screen. Otherwise you get lots of problems. Yeah, VoIPs I think is pretty good. I think it's going to be pretty social. I think we'll see a lot more socialization in 3.6. Let's grab a cutlass and fly to a planet. Blah, 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 blah. Looking for ages, see? C920, Logitech C920 or C922, based on what's cheaper. C922 is a little bit better, but it takes ages to connect to their back-end like services of what my count is at the moment. But I think that might just be a PTU problem rather than a live problem.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
25% of the VoIP problems are due to ugly people. Okay, I can see that. VoIP is a nightmare demon. I love it. I love VoIP. I think it's hilarious.
Our automated system is
You say unfortunately, but have you still spawned my ship?
We apologize for any inconvenience.
Have you still spawned my ship?
Please try again.
Let's go have a look.
Or select a different ship.
No, you haven't. Okay. Play through. That better not be my ship. Why isn't it showing? Definitely there. What else, sir? Get pad A3. Lie to me now. How much is the C920 on Amazon at the moment? I might grab a few. Also, does anyone know a good wireless headset that has a good quality mic? I want to be able to take something with me to CitizenCon so that I can record some audio there. I mean, I can clean the audio to fuck as well, so it doesn't have to be the best thing in the world. I didn't actually put my cutlass on a pad. It lied to me.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
Will the multi-tool be used in 3.6? Maybe. It has had some uses before, sort of like opening doors. So maybe. I will mess around with the multi-tool when 3.6 goes live. Bet my authority.
Unfortunately, Our automated system is
Have you actually put it on
unable to
A2 or are you
access
bugging
that
out?
ship at this time.
You have put it on
We
A2.
apologize for any inconvenience. Please try again later.
So the Brio, very good for a general webcam for your face, but the Brio I don't find as good as the C920 when it's doing FOIP. Go do some HOV mode. Get a little bit of a chill and show that off. I was surprised that the 3.6 PTU didn't go to open PTU for the weekend, but I mean, from their point of view, they probably just don't need the stress test yet. There's too many blockers they need to fix before stress testing. They don't want to get a load of just constant feedback on stuff they know is broken and they're fixing. It is a shame that they haven't met that particular restate. You can see the HOV mode here. We will go to a planet to show it a bit better. So I'm going below a certain speed in gravity. So my engines point down. As soon as I break away from that gravity or go to a certain above a certain speed, engines go up.
Landing gear up.
Go to Domar. I like Domar the most. Mining facility should hopefully be in the sun. Not literally in the sun. That would be ridiculous. I'm being quantum jammed at the moment. It's by the security forces here. I'd get a little bit far away from them. Another problem with quantum interdiction is it will affect everyone in the zone.
Engines overheating.
So there wasn't problems that the C920 fixed with the Brio. It's sort of like it just doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to add anything at all. Having the Brio. The Brio seems to be slightly less sensitive, I suppose, as well to my face. It'd literally just be the way I've set it up.
Quantum drive is now on.
Do you have an estimate when we might see 3.6.x? I mean, I was thinking that we'd have 3.6 by now, so my time estimates are not the best. So would bear that in mind.
Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now on.
I mean, maybe a month after the 3.6 initial release, that'd be my expectation. So maybe 6 weeks, within the next 6 weeks, probably.
Quantum drive is now off.
So yeah, so I mean, I will have, for my home setup, I'll have a proper hanging mic, but I need something for being mobile, which isn't cumbersome, which is easy to use. And I've got some other mics, but they're just trash for what I want them for. So I want a wireless headset that's got a reasonably good inbuilt mic to it. Let us get to the other side of the planet. We're here at the moment. Dunlow Ridge. Perfect. Please do not teleport me through the planet. Be sensible. Be kind. Because how close it actually quantum travels you to a planet now when you're quantum traveling to a zone on a planet, that my HOV mode is actually engaged because I'm technically in the atmosphere. Well, I am in the atmosphere. Physics grid. Yeah, I'm hoping that they just go, right, in the future with the 3.7, the 3.8 or whatever, 3.9 and onwards, they just go, if the feature's not ready and it looks like it's not going to be ready, we're just going to cut it out and we're going to get these patches done when they say they're going to. Long time to gain some speed, but once I do, then I'll boat. Power throttle for my thrusters there. Hold control to go down. When you're in hover mode. Hover mode in a second. I'm going too fast for hover mode. Interesting, actually, because one of the things I don't like with hover mode is that even if you're going too fast or above a certain speed in a sort of like in any direction, even if it's straight down, it'll decide to put my engines up. Hopefully they'll deal with that in the future as well. Show you some of my problems with hover mode. So what I do like is that it makes my ship feel like it flies differently in atmosphere. Okay? That's a good thing. However, having to fly like a helicopter is not great. So can't really, it's sort of like saying you're not allowed to move now because there's bugs with this. Trying to fly like a helicopter won't let me move forward. I've got all the velocity control set to high. Got my thruster set to high. I have to use control and space to move sort of like up and down to get to a certain speed before then moving forward a lot of the time. So there's lots of bugs with that sort of stuff. So now when I get a bit slower, I come to the ground. You'll be able to see. Now I'm really close to the ground. You'll notice me moving. I move forward. Sometimes I'll move like a helicopter. Sometimes I'll just drift backwards. There's just all these little bugs with hover mode. Come on. Oh. Don't we move forward? Sort of like so slow and floaty, but if I wanted... Oh no, now I'm sort of drifting forward very slightly. Good, that's what I wanted to do. Now if I hold X, the idea of this is it's supposed to level me out, okay? I'm still going forward. And I can't press control to land at the same time. Pressing control, it's not making me go down. So I have to get off of X and then try and close to the ground. Hope that I don't drift forward. I land good, so then I hold X again. Then rapidly tap, and then hold X again. But I just sort of like drift any way that it fancies. And it doesn't matter if I'm in fixed mode or whatever. Let's go fully in fixed mode. If that makes any difference at all. Drifting forward. Don't want to be drifting forward. Make sure that I haven't got... Slow down a little bit. Use our power throttle by holding right alt. Moving that down as well. Our thrusters a little bit less aggressive when we're trying to land. You see, we're still drifting. I don't want to drift. I'm holding X. Try and level out. Sort of stopped. That's good. Release X. No. Maybe start to drift to one angle or another. Slowly flying backwards and slightly to the right. I just like, why? I don't... So what you have to end up doing is holding X and then rapidly landing. Then your ship will still decide to drift. As landed occasionally. That's good. That's actually pretty good. So there's lots of bugs and problems with hover at the moment, which is making the experience just trash compared to what it should be. Like, yeah, I can turn off the power now if I wanted to.
Shield system.
And my ship won't drift. But that means I haven't got the shields on when I fly. I could just turn off the engines, admittedly, in a similar fashion. But there are just... there's lots of bugs with hover. Or maybe it just needs iteration or whatever. But I want to be able to easily sort of like level myself out. And then not drift. I want to keep me maintained here button. And while that's also keeping me there without moving, I want to be able to just freely move up and down. If I press control, it lowers me down. Perfect. I can land more easily. If you're trying to land like a ship like a Valkyrie or a larger ship in one of those little box hangars in Area 18, it's hell. Like, because it's sort of like it's moving slightly as you're trying to get into a box that's about the same size as your ship. Into a hangar, and you'll clip something and you'll just start spinning, and it's just like, oh my god, this is hell. So I like the fact it makes ships feel and fly differently in atmosphere. And I like the idea of it on paper, and if it worked fine, it would be pretty good in my opinion, I think. But just the slowness to start and stop isn't ideal. And if I want to fly forwards now, I mean, how do I fly forwards? Well, I angle forwards. Even if I really angle forwards, it takes me a while to move. The best bet I've got is by pointing downwards and pressing space. But that's not what I want to do at all, really. Press space, go up, speed up, angle down. But now I'm sort of like drifting to the left and the right. It doesn't work and function as intended when in atmosphere at the moment. It's just bit of a shame because of that. Yes, so I mean I'm using the power throttle for thrusters. One of the things I am pretty good at using now, and I use that instead a lot of the time instead of decoupled mode. Now that I'm going above a certain speed, on the planet, but I have to be. It seems to work and function a lot better when I'm close to the surface. The speeding up and speeding and slowing down. It's just a bit weird. There's just a lot of bugs with it still. Hopefully when they've iterated on it, it's good. And it doesn't make me feel like, ugh, I don't want to land on planets or I don't want to mess around with landing. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on strafing while in hover mode? Well, I'd like to be able to strafe a lot more easily than I can at the moment, because at the moment you have sort of like have to roll, move left and right more effectively. But I think we should be able to have very strong, precise strafes, because at the moment it's sort of like when I try and strafe, it just sort of floats me lightly in that direction. Yeah, so strafe forward does, as long as I'm close enough to the ground and pointing forward, it does eventually give me enough speed to get out of it. But when you're at a certain level of the atmosphere, just above this, it can be tricky to gain enough speed properly. And it doesn't work consistently is the other thing. Like, sometimes I gain enough speed and sometimes I don't. There's just lots of problems, and that's why it's in PTU. That's why Star Citizen is an alpha in general. But I think it's got there's some good points on paper for it. I think as long as it's in a reasonable state for live, I'll probably be okay and happy with it. So a lot of that VTOL stuff, I mean, I don't mind a minutia of control for it if you want to have thrusters and velocity control and all that sort of stuff to help, but a lot of it needs to be automated to sort of like just work at a reasonable place. Like, this is me trying to strafe. Not going too fast. Put the velocity control up. It's a lot of it needs to be sort of like just be able to work without having to be a great pilot. I mean, that was me trying to level off with X there. Yeah, so there's lots of problems with hover mode. I'm not really sure what direction I want it to go in beyond. I want it to, you know, not have any bugs at the moment. Do you think CIG will be at E3 next year? Yeah, I think they could do Squadron 42 at E3 next year. I think that's a genuine possibility. Do I want a Connie Phoenix or a 600i? Okay. I think I prefer the 600i, personally. Yeah, I want all the bugs to be solved with hover mode first, and a nice, simple way of being able to level your ship off so that you can land. I want to be able to hold control and hold X for it to take me down, and not do this. What the fuck is it doing there? Do this, it drifting a bit while I'm trying to land on a planet. Not so much of a problem. When you're trying to land in a hangar, it's a problem. Yeah, indeed, I could roll or whatever to get some speed in that direction. But I want to be able to strafe as well. I mean, my strafing thrusters should be pretty effective. But it's, yeah, it's one of the downsides of Star Citizen in general with its alpha nature is that a lot of this stuff is broken, especially in the PTU. Hopefully it will be significantly more playable in 3.6. Oh, you're saying if you want more control, you can just adjust the camera. I mean, I see what you mean, but Star Citizen's very playable. It's just, you know, it's not hold your hand playable. It's not a sit down and play experience. It's a find your own fun, play in a group. It's a sandbox. It's a sandbox where a load of the sand's been taken out and there's some stones there and some sharp glass. But the sharp glass is around a load of fun, cool stuff. Like, I don't know, a sand fort that you can play in. I don't fucking know. I went with a weird analogy, okay? Broken glass is bugs, and the PTU. That's also broken glass. So later today, I think I'll do a video on probably looking at thingamajiggamabobs. Looking at time-driven versus feature-driven releases and some of the problems that Star Citizen has with its delays more recently. Game vaporware or what? What do you mean? It's here. They produce weekly schedule reports and stuff. You could argue that it's not going to be made as pitched. You could argue that it's going to be crap. You could argue that it's sort of like it's slow, but it's not vaporware. It physically exists in front of you. I'm playing it, and it looks like they're going to potentially have Squadron 42 released at least reasonably soon. So it's certainly not vaporware. Certainly not a scam. Maybe overly feature creeped and feature bloated, maybe slow development, that sort of stuff. You could certainly argue that. I do generally think they're trying to do something pretty awesome with Star Citizen. I mean, the fact that the planets and moons and stuff look so absolutely fucking cool already, and that little mountain range or that plateau over there is visitable and looks like that. Pretty good. Again, no, not vaporware. What else we got? I think auto stabilization is something that some of the processes in Star Citizen I don't want to be overly tactile, and one of them is landing. Like, I understand that you might be able to do some really cool landing maneuvers and some clever stuff, but it shouldn't be that every time you're trying to land it has to be a clever maneuver. Yeah, I'm thinking at CitizenCon that we might see a release date for Squadron 42. That's what I'm hoping this time. And I'm hoping that release date is for end of next year. That is very optimistic on both fronts. But I do think that's a very possible sort of situation they're looking into doing. I mean, we've been waiting for ages for Squadron 42 and stuff like that as well now, so. I mean, we're still nowhere. And Star Citizen's genuinely starting to deliver on a lot of their stuff. You can see a clear roadmap, and it's a genuine roadmap for the most part. Stuff does get moved off up and down, but it's their general thinking. It's not overly filled with like feature creep or bloat anymore. There's a genuine sort of focus on Squadron 42 and core features for that. We know that. We're aware of that. And they are putting stuff in more and more every 3 months. 3.5 was a disappointing patch. They did break a load of stuff that was in 3.4, gameplay loop-wise and party launch and stuff like that. Hopefully that will be fixed in 3.6. But it is taking a long time. That's something I can definitely get on board with being critical about. And the fact there's delays even when they're supposed to have a less aggressive release schedule. But I do trust CIG to a good extent, at least at the moment, about their vision of the game, about them producing the components and features of the game they say they're going to, and to get something out that's not publisher forced. So you are more than welcome to have a different opinion to that, if you so wish. In fact, I encourage people to have their own opinions. What's your absolute favourite ship that you own? Probably something that doesn't exist yet in game, but I mean the Kareah I love. Paper, something that I actually like to fly. It's probably potentially the Sabre. Any of the industrial ships are pretty awesome. Yeah, so that's one of the other things is that I seem to land my prospector now to mine on planets. That's sort of like what they had intended originally. It makes sense. That's what I do now because I have to. Otherwise, I'm sliding all over the place or not moving in the way I intend. But you are supposed to be able to actually hover the ship and mine still. Like, that's one of the features they want to do as well. But I wouldn't say that's advised currently in 3.6. I mean, Star Citizen suffers from lots of issues when it comes to its development in the past. Up until like the 2016, they had to build multiple studios. They got loads of feature creep. They got a load more money than they originally intended, and they started expanding the scope of the game for the hungry audience that was backing and buying ships and stuff. So, I mean, I got involved with Star Citizen when I realised the scope of the game was expanding. I was like, oh, this looks fucking cool. This is going to be first-person EVE Online with loads of new features, learning from EVE and Freelancer and Wing Commander and all that sort of stuff, and bringing them all together. Because say what you want about Chris Roberts, typically he's good at bringing loads of mechanics together and making them work. That's what, at least what he did with Wing Commander. What kind of razor do I prefer? You know, just a shaving bob for beards. A trimmer. Hamid is super buggy. So are all the ships, especially in 3.6 at the moment. Going too fast. Hover around. Oh. And what is that about? That was really low frame rate performance degradation for some reason. I'm getting it. But only when I'm in third person? That's supposed to be shake from my engines. So there's lots of weird things when it comes to the audio-driven camera shake and still wobbles my camera quite aggressively. Ideal, but you know. Yeah, Star Citizen's missions are an interesting one at the moment. They're sort of like, they've got some cool ones, but there's no dynamicness to them. There's no real sort of like changes to them. There's very, very base archetypes which don't don't go anywhere other than being that archetype, the same mission every time, effectively. And they can have deliveries from different places to different places and that sort of stuff. There's a couple of missions like the Twitch Pacheco mission and down satellite missions and stuff like that, which are more heroic and have counter missions generated for them. But the missions at the moment are quite sort of like lackluster and boring. And when we have the dynamic mission system, which they're planning for 3.8, I suspect they'll be a lot better. Turn off sound-based camera shake. I mean, it is off. On somewhere else isn't another option that I've missed, is there? My engines shut down because they overheated, and that's something that will be more and more sort of like you'll notice when we have physicalized components, is that this misfire system is incredibly important for that, because you are going to be and the wear system. So damaging a component will either cause it wear or permanent damage, or cause it to misfire more, all that sort of stuff as its life slowly reduces to zero. Effectively, you're wearing down the component by shooting at it. And you might be able to repair them and that sort of stuff, and spot repair them and change the subcomponents in them to give them a bit more life or whatever, or entirely replace the component in some capacity for some things. But especially for capital ships, you're going to be targeting like power plants or engines or shield generators or whatever, trying to take them down so that they misfire and so you can do more damage on them or disable them or whatever. I think that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to. Probably the thing I'm most looking forward to is physicalized components, having ships working properly, and general progression. If I reduce the power throttle on my engines, it will actually reduce camera shake significantly. So that's me dropping the power throttle on my that was velocity control, actually. Slow down a little bit more. Let's go into hover mode. Into hover mode, or do I need to slow down even more? Get that shake. You'll get that shake. Not ideal. Co-pilot has to be an animal. What animal do you choose? Probably a cat. Fucking love cats. I think we'll get the 890 jump within about 6 weeks, would be my expectation. End of August. Not ideal, but most likely. Do you have any other questions or anything? I know I've missed a lot, so I was sort of like wanted to just play around. It's largely for me to get the settings worked out for, well, so I'd like to do some podcasty skits, at least partly in game with the FOIP. I am planning a podcast at the moment. Hopefully our ship won't just crash. We're going to trust in the ship. Oh god. So that's some of the calibration lost on my secondary camera, which is a little bit offset from the screen. It's here rather than... This is my main camera, which I'm pointing at now. And this is my... Can't see. But... Okay, now I'm sitting in the... It's locked on. It's locked onto my moustache. Hello and welcome. Yeah, it's good. Good. Yeah, I want to be able to do sort of skits, partly in game for, you know, videos and for podcasts, Hopefully nothing too cringeworthy. Hopefully nothing too cringeworthy. But with FOIP, I suppose anything could fucking happen. But I'll get it set up so that it's doing my face a bit, you know. Oh, what is happening? Thank you very much for the raid. Very much appreciated. Break it army. Love your faces. Very much appreciated. Keep up the good work, board. Oh, thank you very much, Raykit. I love your face. You gave me money and raided me. Never happened to me before. Thank you very much. What's the point, eh? What's the point? My legs just exploded. And as we can see, there are some problems with 3.6.0. But thanks for the raid. The super chat. So I actually think that the best way of playing Star Citizen at the moment is in organisations doing silly missions and silly things that you designed yourself. Org v Org Wars, missions you made up yourself, all that sort of stuff. The sandbox of the game is pretty fucking cool. It looks fantastic, and there's cool stuff that you can do. And it's a bit silly. And the bugs, they can be quite fun if you're with the right group of people, but it's not a sit down and play game at the moment. It is also not suitable for the mainstream. Oh my god. How's the campaign for the RX 2080? Going alright, 2080 Ti. What are we... 1 second. 1 second. That much. So, 2/3 of the way there. I'll probably grab one at the end of this week, or the end of next week, whatever. Sort of like some of this stuff was with intention in mind of getting some of the settings worked out for recording and streaming simultaneously for that 2080. I know I'm on my 1080 Ti, but data will help, so I jump in, put it in. I've got, I know what hard drive it should go to, what bit rate, and all that sort of stuff. Who says some music going on? Why are there so many problems with this PTU? I mean, there's just a collection of problems. The PTU, probably they were on the back foot from 3.5.1. It's just a bit delayed because of that. Hover mode and some of the stuff they're trying to fix. The new sort of like law system. There's loads of changes to the economy and stuff as well. Sometimes it causes a load of problems, and sometimes it doesn't. So this PTU's been a bit slow because of that. Probably a load of different things all happening. $2080 Ti Super. No, I didn't think they were going to have a 2080 Ti Super. Thought that was not a thing. But we decided not to have a 2080 Ti Super. 2080 Ti Super. Going to be a 2080 Ti Super. Yeah, 2080 Super is the other one, because the 2080 Ti's are effectively on the Titan die, the same die as that. That doesn't make sense for them to have the 2080 Ti Super, because that would effectively be a Titan. Yeah. It's going well, thanks. Sort of like just messing around more than anything else. Get a mission on Kareah. A Kareah mission at the moment. Cool. Go to security post Kareah and kill some fools. Might want to put on some armor. Do our guns work? No, they don't. Right. We're going to put on some armor. Maybe that will help.
Hey, back again, I see. Welcome. I think you're going to be happy.
Buy a flight suit. Light suit, is it? Light armor. Perfect. Grab that light armor. Add on. And hopefully that will fix our problems. But why? Oh, did I do something weird with my camera? I guess I did. Hey. Equip these weapons, or do we have to buy new weapons? Oh, we can equip them again. But got 8 times on it. Perfect. Sidearm. I haven't got a sidearm apparently. Can run around with a sniper rifle. We'll be fine. Not use the arrowhead for ages. It's the charge one, isn't it? Probably the charge one. Yeah, we'll be fine. Gonna put it on my back, game? Or... No? Yeah? Maybe? Who knows? I don't. Come on, game. Be friendly. Perfect. Great. Awesome. Safe. This is... How will you look with RTX on? The same, because it's not supported in Star Citizen yet. So I think what Star Citizen want to do is be as neutral. Oh yes, it updated it. Now we've got our gun on our back. Yes. Perfect. Right, let's fucking go. Smaller ship. Add this again. That FOIP is with multiple webcams going on, but that's my C920. That is a cheap, good webcam at 30 FPS, not 60. A 60 FPS webcam should be pretty good. Should be a pretty good experience. The faceware cams, if assuming they're still doing them, and I believe they are, because I do occasionally poke faceware about it, should be the best possible experience. I'm hoping we hear more about that at CitizenCon. But they are going to be probably quite expensive, those faceware cams. But you can get on, have a great experience with FOIP, even with a mid-level camera. C920, C922, perfect. What's up, Bored? want to know, with the little circle reticle in combat, is it supposed to be placed on the opposing ship or placed ahead where they're flying? So, it depends on what flight mode you're in, what reticle mode you're in. You either have flight pip lead or flight pip lag. So you have it drawn by the ship that you are fighting, and then you literally try to put your crosshair on the pip. Or you have on your pip it drawing a line and then a little reticle, which you're then trying to put on the ship.
Aegis combat assist activated.
This is another security force. Are you another security dude? No, this is a player. Okay, that's fine. I'm stat 1. It's good to know. Right, we are flying to... Not the comrade, nope. Right, for some reason, not letting me
Shields offline.
pull up my drive. I'm going to turn off my power and turn it back on.
Aegis combat assist activated. Systems green.
Perfect. Nice, simple fix. You're not a fan of the luxury ships? No, I like the idea of the luxury ships. Vampirus, by the way, I fucking love you, and thank you so much for the ridiculously large donation. Very much Sorry, that's the sound of me, my engine, deciding that it doesn't want to spool, because I'm in a quantum interdiction zone. See at the top right there, it's got the little squares with the cross through it. There's no. You quantum interdicted now, boy. When will we have the Kraken, and how will we call it out? What? When we have the Kraken, how will we call it out? I guess it won't fit the pads, right? Oh, yes, so they're building more stations at the moment, and they're going to have ship-to-ship and ship-to-station docking. So the idea is that you go onto a station or a landing zone, and you'd spawn it, and it would spawn docked or whatever. Come out at larger landing pads than they have in the future, or out of hangars, or literally just dock to the side of stations. We're still quantum interdicted! No longer quantum interdicted. Perfect.
Landing gear retracted.
What are your expectations for Operation Pitchfork? Well, at the moment, I don't know exactly when it's going to happen or whatever. It needs to be sort of like reimagined Operation Pitchfork. How many players and ships do you think they'll be able to ram into a single battle? It's going to purely depend on server meshing and how far it's come and all the optimizations and stuff. I mean, I think the dream is to have tens of thousands of people in a single battle that spans across the system. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for saying hello. Are there any plans for not just spawning ships out of thin air? Yeah, so I know that they want to, or have been looking at physicalized hangars to some extent, but also the public hangars, and spawning them like out of like car elevators effectively, so they bring them out so they don't just spawn. Well, they spawn inside somewhere you can't see and then be presented to you, so it looks like they've been brought out of somewhere else. On planets and outposts and stuff, I mean, they could have them so they just don't ever disappear, I suppose. Star Citizen's going to be massive, and if the server tech, server meshing can support it, then why even despawn ships at all? be the way I'd do it, but I mean, that might not be viable resource-wise, and they might have to despawn ships in safe areas and not despawn them in others. There's lots of unknowns with Star Citizen, which is why it sort of like attracts so much criticism, but also appeal. A lot of people that have different expectations of a lot of different things. Oh! You mother trucker. I thought I'd survived, and I took my eyes off the prize and realised that I still had cruise control on. We're good. We're good. That was a little tiny love tap. That's crime stat 3, but I mean, I understand why I'd kill him.
Automated landing initiated.
Seems to be just chilling.
Landing complete.
Don't think he'd be able to get over here and kill me in time anyway. He says this is his last words. Got arrowhead. Got ridiculous time scope on it. God will be fine. We have to pick up guns if we need to as well. We've got to kill the hostiles that are here. And we can see the AI again. I basically do a little AI test every day on every server I'm on. This guy is glitching all over the place. That's not ideal for anyone involved. Swear at me. You are a glitchy mother trucker. Oh god. They will start shooting me at some point. They're derpy. But not that derpy. I mean, if they all stand together. What do you like this little post here? What? Oh! You little bastard shot me! See, they take ages to react at the moment. They sort of like walk towards you. They don't really notice you. They're all glitchy. They're moving. That's genuinely a plus. You'll be like, what the fuck? But genuinely, like, they're terribly dressed. And that's probably one of the worst things about this. Look out, they're terribly dressed. They're not even coordinating properly. But they just, the AI... They're getting it into a functional state. And I hope for 3.6 it's a little more challenging by the time it goes live. But for me, that's one of the major blockers. They're still writing the AI. There's still server problems, which mean that the AI is relatively trash a lot of the time. You can see that the server doesn't really keep up with where they are properly. It's why they sort of like jitter and wobble on the ground. So, yeah, Star Citizen, load of problems with it. And it's going to be like that for a while. Where's the last one? But there is some beautiful gems that come out of that. And the sort of like the general promise for the future is pretty good. You're not in here, are you? Where's the last one? Who knows? I mean, they died mostly because of their fashion failure. That's accurate. Gonna get sucker punched by the last derpy AI to get off the short bus. Here, AI. Can't hear him either. I actually quite liked when they had the lootable items that gave you money. Gave you more reasons to sort of like search around areas. I know they have that with effectively cargo now, but there's nothing to pick up or find around Security Post Kareah, for example, which I would like. I do quite like the single items. Oh, it's so bright in here. Oh my god. So he's not in the main room. Where are you, little weasel? Hello? Go back upstairs. Probably on the top floor, but... Casey's got himself stuck in here. No, he's not in here, but we'll look anyway. Where are you? I mean, they're definitely all dead. I think we have a case of a guy glitching through somewhere. Probably check the bottom floor again. And check the pads. It's very possible that he either didn't spawn. I always forget to use these vents. I think they're really fucking cool. Nope. I don't know where he's gone. It does show on my scope, but that's pretty cool. Didn't know it would show the what's on the screens on the scope. Fortunately, not being able to kill the last guy has blue-balled me. And it's even possible he's in one of the fucking airlocks. Did you bring weapons this time? Yeah, so I brought weapons last time. They just maybe fell out of my inventory. I don't know. I was able to steal their weapons. There's loads of problems with 3.6. When you analyse it, there's loads of problems with Star Citizen in any live build. Like hundreds and hundreds of little problems, whether it's quality of life, whether it's bugs or whatever. And they will resolve them all at a later stage, based on whether it's something that's integral for testing, or even when some of these like more quality of life bugs and stuff like that, they'll do when the game is in a better state and it makes more sensible for them to do it. So Star Citizen's sort of like progress is relatively slow. Squadron 42 is probably making quite a bit more than we are aware of, is what I would say. Not to give anything too much away, but I'm pretty excited for Squadron 42 stuff coming out of CitizenCon this year. I mean, well, at least I'm hyped about it. Hello, this is my gun. I mean, VoIP-wise, with that C920, it's pretty good. And it's reading at me from an angle as well. So, I think that camera's pretty slick. If you can grab one on Prime Day for VoIP, I would. As long as they're cheap enough. But yeah. That's pretty good. Eyebrows. Pinky eyes. I want the AI just to be working and then challenging. So get them working, then get something a bit more challenging there as well. So when I play, I'd be like, I can play some solid PvE, which is fun for a whole day. That's what I want. I want to be able to devote like 8 hours into a gaming session of Star Citizen. Oh, like I did with Eve. Just got your X55 just in time to crash every time in hover mode. What do you think of this so far? Early days yet? No. I talked about hover mode quite a bit earlier. It needs a lot of work. I want it to fix all the bugs and to get some quality of life into it, and then I'll give it a bit more of sort of a, what do I think of it? At the moment, it's trash because it doesn't work properly. My mouth moving when I'm looking at different angles of the screens. I think there's a lot of content stuff that you can do in-game. I mean, Star Citizen looks great, even from like an amateur point of view that's not like set up properly. It makes it great for machinima, because you can translate much more expressive faces with that VoIP. Right, do we have any other questions, whether the ones I haven't answered or what? Because otherwise I'm going to break for lunch. And then try and get a video up of probably talking about feature-based releases versus time-based releases and general delays that we had with 3.6 and the roadmap. And is it appropriate to have that roadmap and some of the features are incorrect and stuff gets moved out and that sort of stuff. So I sort of want to talk generally more sort of like, these are my thoughts on this, sort of interested to know what people's thoughts are on that, and more of a chilled discussion on that. Pretty chilled today, really grumpy over the weekend. Also, I should need to talk to a couple of people, and then I'll try and get a podcast up potentially next week. I was trying to wait for 3.6 to be live, but I do want to, if possible, get a sort of like prototype of my podcast that I want to do up. It would just be pretty basic, but it'll be, you know, me and a guest or two. Hopefully trying to get a different interesting guest each time, whether it's a content creator, whether it's someone that's made an interesting product for Star Citizen, or a dev, if we're ever able to get devs. As very few people get devs, especially when they're working on things, which is annoying. I wish they were a bit more sort of like podcast focused. But, hey, what are you going to do? Yeah, so VoIP, I've had some good experiences with it, mostly plain weird experiences. It's my flashlight fixed. Yeah, so I've had some plain weird experiences with VoIP, just hearing people like squeal and do weird things in the background. I haven't had anyone being like overtly racist or anything, or swear at me a lot, but there's always time for that. But VoIP, I put very little effort into making VoIP work. And it's my secondary camera, it's not even the camera I normally use for VoIP, and it's pointing at me from an angle, which is why you see occasionally it not work out where my face is, and it thinks that my mustache and mouth are the same thing. Hello? No! It might be closer to dinner now. I'll have early dinner. Lunch and dinner. So I still think that Discord is going to be heavily used, even if Star Citizen gets the best integrated voice and external, both internal and external voice systems and organization systems. I still suspect that Discord will be used a lot. Why wouldn't you? It's a great solution. I'll still be using Mumble. Right. I am going to get some food. What's your bet on a 3.6 PU release date? I would expect by the end of this month. So by the end of July, I would expect 3.6 released. Expect that's sort of like the internal schedule. They want to get this done as early as possible, but I suspect that's what they sort of like given it as a rough idea. Will you shave your beard when Squadron 42 comes out? Why? It hides the fact I have a fat face now. Not sure if I like beards or not. I haven't decided yet. Maybe I love them. Maybe I hate them. Maybe I'm indifferent about them. I mean, if people want me to do something stupid for when Squadron 42 comes out, like, I know, shave my hair or my eyebrows or paint myself or cosplay or whatever, I'm always open to that idea. Anything for the fans and money. Will you shave your head when Squadron 42 comes out? Yes. I promise you I will shave my head when Squadron 42 comes out. I thought I was on an account that no one had the details to. Oh shit. The leaning. Whoa, boy. See some serious shapes here. Stream style, I mean, I'd never be annoyed. Well, I probably won't be that annoyed at stream snipers. They give interesting content, eh? At the very least. And the idea would be me to be streaming to make money or promote my videos or whatever. So, extra content, eh? How about a giant Squadron 42 on the top of your head? A tattoo. I was thinking more of like a Star Kitten tattoo on the arm or something stupid like that. Happily do that. But, I always forget to use the lean. Because at the moment, because of hit reg and stuff and the way that works, you might as well just run at people and then pow, 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 pow. The person that runs around the corner and fires is more likely to get the kill than the person waiting around the corner for you to come around. Because on their screen, they are running around the corner. You haven't appeared yet. They get a couple of shots into you before you see them run around the corner and start firing. Hopefully when server authoritative, that won't be so much of a problem. But right, let's go host someone else. Hopefully I've got enough data. I've easily got enough data to work out recording settings and stuff. What? You're bored, Osri? I love you, Osri. You're the best. Well, I mean, Vampirus is the best because he gave me £50. And I love him. You're high up there because you just subbed. Breakit's pretty high up there as well because he raided and subbed me. You know, raided and subbed me or raided and paid me money. That's pretty good in my books. I don't know, is there anything I wanted to talk about? Nothing really I wanted to talk about in the roadmap. Probably 2 stuff. There is an Independence Day sale on that ends today, which you can buy some stupidly expensive ship packs, but the Cutlass Blue and the Phoenix and the Mercury and stuff like that's on offer as well. The Apollo, for people that wanted it at the moment. So I'll give you a link to that. I don't have any pounds. I actually lost some in the gym recently. Wow. Wow. If people want to get onto the PTU, that's all the details. You do need the new launcher. It is in waves at the moment. It's wave 2, the latest PTU, so it's not everyone yet. Next wave is open PTU. Driver Flare, JR Fabrication are releasing an Arrow model, which is incredibly expensive at £110, but it is pretty sweet and is officially licensed. I just like this stuff. What else have we got? In the latest... That is not the latest newsletter. Oh, we've got Wave 2 CitizenCon tickets coming in a couple of days. And if you want a CitizenCon ticket, it's in Manchester this year on the 23rd of November. And on Wednesday, we've got the next 2 lots of tickets. If you want to grab them, let me put the link there for you. I already have a ticket. I will be going. I bought the ticket myself. I'm not there as a VIP or anything. I'm just there as a dude. I haven't taken anything from CIG other than a cup and saucer. When I ask for office tours, they typically give them, or have in the past. This year, I haven't been so lucky with office tours. Anything new with the Crytek case? Just some scheduling stuff. Some new things happening over the last couple of days, but I can't really see what they are. I think they're just the new the new lawyers from Crytek getting all authorized by the court to appear for Crytek. I think the next thing we're waiting for was whether the motion for the bond, the $2.2 million bond, goes through, which hopefully it should. I say hopefully it should. It looks like it will. And then that should be the next thing after that is a conference meeting for settlement. A proper settlement meeting between the parties. So hopefully they get settled and get that sorted. Yeah. Any other questions before I dash off for nom noms? When we have beam weapons. Don't know when we're getting them. Well, we've got the Singe, which is sort of like a hit scan beam-ish. But proper beam weapons are supposed to be in the game now. They have confirmed that. I don't know when we're getting them, though. Can you see I'm subbed while my account is private? Curveball. I believe so. I have yet to have a problem with me seeing who subbed to the thing, subbed on my YouTube, which shows me, I believe, everyone subs. You could appear private to other people, but not to people you're subbed to. So I can see that you're subbed on me. I believe that's the way it works. There has been a couple of occasions I have not checked to see if someone has subbed before I've given them the prize, but pretty sure they have been. Just make sure you're subbed. Just do that. If I check and you're not subbed, I'll probably ask you, are you subbed? And if that's the situation, then just make sure you're subbed and say, yes. Definitely time to go for dinner because my desktop Star Citizen literally just crashed. Good sign. That's the second crash I've had in the latest PTU build. But yeah, I am pretty hungry. Right, I love you guys. Let's go see who else is streaming. But I wanted... This is sort of like what I want to do for BoredGamer Breakfast Club. Just sort of like chill, chat, potentially play a little bit of Star Citizen, but nothing too intense. Maybe work on a video at the same time. And hopefully the actual quality of the stream should look a lot better. I've got some new umbrellas as well that I can have the light reflected on my face, so we have less problems with like see-through holes in my chest and shininess off the top of my head. So I'll try and get that out done later this week, and I'll probably grab my 2080 Ti either later this week or later next week. Whether or not we hit that goal, it does need to be updated for super chats anyway, so it's probably a lot closer. Yeah. So is anyone G streaming? Fucking perfect. G is streaming some Mega Man, so give G some love if you want to watch him, or tell him to fuck off if you don't. No, don't say that. Tell him I love him. He's going to be playing lots of Star Citizen in the future. He'll probably be appearing on my Star Citizen stream very regularly as well. And he's a member of the BoredGamer team, and we actually start doing stuff together soon. I've been pretty lazy and erratic, but we're starting to get to the stage now. Star Citizen should be a lot more playable really soon. Getting a podcast on the go, and Zin should be working for me soon as well, which means I'll go to get a lot more done. and hopefully have a lot stronger content, a lot better looking content, better edited content. You know, all those things and more. Raid the shit out of UG. Shiny Head Club represent. I do need to get those new emotes done. I want to get a emote for me as a beluga whale, me as a potato, potentially some other animals as well. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching me. Thank you so much for the donations and the resubs and the subs and the general conversation. It does help guide the channel and that interaction quite a lot, and it is genuinely appreciated. And also sorts them out in my head. I just like to chat, like to chill. Don't feel so sort of like I haven't done anything with my day. Yeah, love you guys. Thanks so much for watching. You take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Bam. Right now.